Hello everyone! For today's video, we're gonna talk about the 15 signs of labor in dogs. One of the important signs of labor in dogs is temperature drop. So, listing the daily temperature of your pregnant dog at least a week before the expected due date can help you determine when labor will begin. A pregnant dog's normal temperature is 37.7 Celsius to 38.3 Celsius. Before labor, the temperature drops to 37 Celsius and below, and remains that low for two consecutive readings taken 12 hours apart. Once this happens, expect that labor will begin within 12 to 24 hours. This is foremost the most accurate sign that your dog is about to labor. Based on our experience on our dogs, once their temperature drops, we immediately know that the labor will begin soon. Digging the wall or floor is another sign of labor. They usually begin digging as early as a week before labor and digs more than usual hours before labor. A pregnant dog scratches or digs because it is part of their instinct to prepare a place to give birth to her puppies. Once you notice this, it is better to place her in a whelping box inside a quiet room for her to feel safe and give birth. Nesting behavior is another sign that labor will soon begin. This activity usually begins about a week before the due date, but your dog will seriously begin to nest a day or so before delivery. In this stage of labor, your dog will instinctively look for a place to deliver the pups. To help her, provide a whelping box with blankets. Your dog will thoroughly rumple this bedding into a nest in preparation for whelping. Another sign of labor is loss of appetite. She will usually stop eating a day before and during labor. This is because the labor process can be very exhausting and can cause stomach upset and vomiting along with pacing and uneasiness. Thus, trying to force her to eat during this time is not productive. Another sign of labor is that you will always see your dog tired and sleeping. In the first stage of labor, you will often see your dog sleeping. This is because carrying a litter takes a lot of energy, and your female dog may be even worn out, especially in those final days before delivery. If your pet seems even more lethargic than she did a day or two ago and is close to her due date, it could be a sign that labor is about to begin. Anxiety and restlessness begins to show hours before labor. Anxiety and restlessness shows when she senses that the delivery time is near. This is what it looks like when your dog is feeling anxious. What I notice is that whenever my dog feels anxious, she sticks by my side like a glue and stays beside me once she feels that labor is about to begin. I think this is because she feels safe around me. One of the best ways to help your dog when she is giving birth is to simply be there with her and show love and encouragement. Panting heavily is another sign that your dog is about to labor. One of the most certain signs that your dog is in labor is when she pants heavily. Your dog will pant rapidly for periods and then pause for a few moments only to begin panting again. This is how dogs in labor pants heavily. Shivering indicates that your dog is in labor. Shivering usually indicates that female's temperature is rising. How long will a dog be in labor? It can vary quite a bit depending on the individual dam, but this first stage of the dog's labor typically lasts for 2 to 3 hours before she begins pushing. Milk production is another sign of labor. Take note that not all female dogs produce milk before they deliver the pups. Some dogs don't produce milk until after the puppies are born. If your dog is producing milk before labor, this is a good sign. To check if your dog is already producing milk, you can gently squeeze her nipples and see if there is a milk coming out. Another sign that your dog is in labor when her tail head is facing down. This is because of the contractions that they are feeling. Continue watching because I will insert here the list of the 15 signs of labor. Another sign of labor is contractions. At this point, you may notice her abdomen tense up or ripple periodically with early contractions. When you see these signs, gently lay your hands on either side of her abdomen. Her stomach will feel hard during a contraction, and you will feel it relax again once the contraction is over. Pushing is another sign of labor. You will definitely know your dog is in labor once she begins pushing. Some dogs will lay down as they begin to push out a pup, while others will squat on all four legs. The female dog will focus on pushing and pay relatively little attention to anything else going on around her. You should not try to help her give birth, but if you notice any signs of distress, call your veterinarian. Another sign of labor in dogs is when the amniotic sac emerges or when the water breaks. The fluid-filled amniotic sac begins to protrude from the vulva as the pup begins making its way through the birth canal. It may take several pushes before the pup and its placenta are fully delivered. Sometimes, a placenta is retained, but it's usually pushed out before the puppy's next arrival. Once you see the mother's water break, you can expect delivery within minutes or even seconds of this happening. Another sign of labor in dogs is the enlargement of vulva. Once you notice that the mother's vulva enlarge, you can expect the delivery of the puppies within minutes or seconds. The last sign of labor in dogs is the arrival of the puppies. During the arrival of the puppies, the mother dogs sometimes shout from the pain that they are feeling, especially to the dog's first labor experience. Most of the time, the puppy is still in the sac after delivery. The mother dog will instinctively chew the sac to open it, but once you notice that she does not do anything to open the sac, you have to step in and rip it open for the fluid to be released. If the sac is not opened immediately after labor, the puppy will drown from the fluid from the amniotic sac. This is dangerous and can even lead to death. As soon as the sac is opened, the mother dog will clean the pup's face by licking it for the puppy to be stimulated and to begin breathing. If you see that the mother dog is bleeding a little at this point, don't worry, that's normal. After ripping the sac open and stimulating the puppy, it's now time to cut the umbilical cord. You can do this by clamping the cord using a forceps or an umbilical clamp. After doing that, cut the cord. Take note that you should clamp it at least 1 to 2 inches away from the puppy's belly. This is to avoid accidents of cutting the puppy's belly. I saw a lot of posts about this wherein the newborn pup's cord is wrongly cut. What I mean by wrongly cut is that they cut the umbilical cord way too near to the belly. In some cases, newborn puppy's belly is ripped open. That's why we have to be cautious. After cutting the cord, it's now time to wipe the puppy. We should wipe the puppy to dry them for them not to be easily cold. Take note that newborn puppies should maintain a specific degree Celsius of heat. Here's the list of the 15 signs of labor in dogs. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share our video.